I've been using this Orico NVMe enclosure for half a year now and I'm impressed. I originally wanted to get a separate enclosure, but those are slightly more expensive and more importantly, are hard to buy in Asia or maybe just here in the Philippines. So I went to a local store here in Cebu and grabbed one of these Orico NVMe enclosures for just 18 US dollars or 900 Philippine pesos. So let's start with a speed test. This particular model is rated for 10 gigabits per second, which is around 1250 megabytes per second. I'm using it with my Samsung 970 EVO SSD, not Plus, just a regular EVO. It's the same SSD that I used to upgrade the storage on my 2015 MacBook Pro. I pulled it out when I sold the machine and now I'm using it in this enclosure as my video editing drive with my M.1 MacBook Pro. And so far, I've had no problems. Running Blackmagic's Disk Speed Test app yields an average read speed of 770 and write speed of 730 megabytes per second. Note that the results will vary depending on your system, your drive, etc. It is definitely not reaching the 970 EVO's maximum read and write speeds, which is around 3,400 and 2,300 megabytes per second. But that's just how it is with USB-connected NVMe enclosures, and this result is actually quite good at this price point. For context, the famous SanDisk Extreme portable SSD is rated at 550 megabytes per second, while the Samsung T5 portable drive is rated at 540 megabytes per second. And both are probably more expensive in a price to capacity ratio versus using an enclosure with an SSD. Please take note that there are 4 or more identical looking Orico SSD enclosures that have a vastly different drive support and max speeds. Their Amazon US listing has a detailed table in this, even more detailed and understandable than the one on their website itself. So I recommend you to check this info here on Amazon. I'll put a link in the description. So some models are for SATA SSDs only, some are for NVMe SSDs, and there are those that does 5, 10, and 20 gigabits per second. So make sure to pick the right one based on what drive you have, if you already have one, your desired speeds, your planned usage, and your budget. Now for the nerds out there, I found out that this enclosure uses the Realtek RTL 9210 chipset, and that this chipset is one of the most reliable out there. If you spend enough time looking around for NVMe enclosures, you'll notice that enclosures that use this chipset family get good ratings, while those that use something else tend to have bad ratings over time. Note that USB-connected NVMe enclosures will not pass the installed drive's details to your computer, so it'll only see the enclosure in the drive inside as a USB storage drive. This mainly won't be an issue. The only time this will be an issue is when you want to use a manufacturer-provided software for drive cloning. But on a day-to-day use, I don't think there is a real impact on this. Lastly, I like that the product is a complete package. It comes with a free thermal pad which works fine in my experience with the 970 EVO. It's thick enough to get sandwiched between the EVO's chipset and the enclosure's top cooling grill. Though I would say it would have been better if they included a little bit more thermal pads. Then it comes with 2 high quality, thick and sturdy cables, one USB-C to USB-C and one USB-C to USB-A. They also included a small screwdriver to open and close the enclosure to access the SSD drive, and a spare plastic fastener that fastens the SSD to the enclosure baseboard. A minor thing to note is that the baseboard is not attached to the case, which makes it feel a little insecure. But so far this has not been a problem and the drive doesn't rattle inside. So overall, my experience with this relatively affordable enclosure has been flawless. I'm getting close to theoretical max speed. I've never had dropouts. The speed is sustained thanks to its cooling grill and a free thermal pad, and it comes with 2 USB cables. So if you're in a country where your Plan A enclosure brand isn't available, like in my case I wanted a Sabron one, then just check out Orico, maybe they have something for you. Let me know your thoughts about this by commenting below. If this was helpful, hit that like button so others can find this video. If you loved it, subscribe for more, and you can follow me on Instagram. As always, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.